Welcome back, Retail Therapy, Episode 9. My name's Will DeFries. In the studio with me today is my co-host, Barrett Dudley. Barrett, what is popping?
Oh, not too much. Just getting my groove on. It's if you can't tell, if you're watching on youtube.com/washmedia, it's officially the summer of blokecore, isn't it?
When Barrett walked into the studio today and we saw him in the parking lot, my eyes just absolutely lit up. Barrett, for the people at home, can we get a rundown of this kit, please?
Yeah, this is the Texas edition of the summer of blokecore.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're already. I mean, I know it's early May, but like we're already in the dead of summer here. It's 90 degrees from here on out. Like nothing. We can't do the stonewashed jeans, man. It's too hot for that already. This is going to be a brutal summer. So I do have I have a vintage soccer shirt on. This is a black and red one. It's Umbro. It is representing the Flamengo side out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. They play in the world's largest soccer stadium. They say it can hold like 200,000 people.
That's too many people.
Estimates put it at more like 100, in between 155 and 180,000. But this is, I think I mentioned when we talked about blokecore that, I grew up playing club soccer, and so like from the ages of 9 to 14. Like I was big on soccer. I was like collecting the jerseys, and I had a chance to go to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where I just picked up a whole gang of like bootlegs from Rio de Janeiro street vendors. My parents were coming up for Mother's Day this weekend. Before they came, I was like, you got to go to the upstairs closet, dig around for me, see if those old jerseys are still there. And my mom walked in the door on Sunday and had like 6 jerseys in her hand. So I am officially set for the summer of blokecore, and I really couldn't be happier.
You're living good right now, because I don't know what happened in my life. I know I didn't give them away, but I have so many jerseys that I know that I've purchased in the past, and I fear that my parents just donated a box of them, and it's killing me. This is we talked about it last episode. This is the perfect example of a vintage jersey that deserves to be worn in the name of blokecore.
Yeah, pretty much every single one that my mom showed up with, they all collared.
Yeah,
this was just like in 1999. This was just the look of soccer shirts.
Yeah.
Like that they all had collars. That was we were doing prep on soccer shirts on soccer jerseys.
The new Manchester United kit that has been leaked, not confirmed yet, but there are so many leaks on it that I'm almost guaranteeing that it is the jersey for next season.
Yeah.
Does have a collar on it. That being said, I'm pretty much against everything the team is doing right now, so I don't see myself supporting them by buying a shirt.
Well, I mean, you got to be real bummed about this Haaland signing. Are you going to have an opportunity anywhere else to talk about the Man City?
I thought
signing,
about inserting myself into the conversation on Too Much Dip yesterday, but I was honestly annoyed. It was the winter of 2019, pre-pandemic. Times were different. The vibes hadn't shifted yet. I was on a train from London to Edinburgh. And we made a stop in Newcastle to drop off some old lads at the match that was happening that day. Mm-hmm. Just a bunch of old Newcastle fans who were these guys were in their 70s probably, and they were just drinking beers and enjoying themselves. And that was the moment when I found out that Manchester United was not signing him the first time.
Okay.
And that one was more heartbreaking than this time, because I'd already made up my mind that I didn't care. But, as someone who really wanted to sign him, it's going to be very hard to watch him play for a rival team for so long.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now I get to hate him, which is also kind of fun. It's kind of fun to turn on somebody that you previously liked. So I guess I'm just going to do that now.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're not already doing so, every episode of Retail Therapy is available on youtube.com/washmedia. As Barrett already said, I think we need to do a listener questions episode relatively soon.
Definitely.
A programming note. We are recording 3 weeks in a row of Retail Therapy. Usually we do every other week. We got another episode coming next week, so look forward to that. Maybe that'll be our listener questions one for the big trademark 10th episode.
Ooh, yeah. Wow.
That's big time.
I can't believe that we've already done 10 of these.
We started at the beginning of the year, and it's already May.
Yeah, you're right.
We've gone through I don't even know the trends that we've gone through at this point, but now we're officially in. So what are you wearing on the bottom of this?
So the bottom, I called this Texas blokecore because I couldn't do the jeans. I just went with nylon shorts.
Okay.
Not black nylon shorts and New Balance 992s.
There you go.
So, it's the Texas version.
I just need to go online and just get some old jerseys, because my current ones are too current in my opinion, and they're too athletically cut.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Nike made a switch in the mid 2000s that went from being these are essentially like high-end shirts, and now they made the switch, and now they're just like very tight-fitting things. Yes. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah, they're more like workout tops basically, and it's not the vibe. I feel I was, you know, when I found the stash, when I got my hands on them, I could just tell immediately like that they were all going to fit just like I wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thanking 13-year-old me for just like buying them, you know, way too big.
Yeah.
But also just like, I guess a benefit of being a small person is that I'm not that much bigger now than I was when I was 13, I guess.
Yeah. See, my body is, my cousins would call me stick boy when I was in high school, and I no longer get called that randomly. So I'm going to assume that my body's changed enough that
Stick boy was your nickname?
Yeah. My cousins just called me stick boy. I was very thin. I could eat as much Taco Bell as I pleased, and I could still maintain my, they also called me Foreman from That 70s Show, as he was very skinny and had a big head of hair. And that's kind of what I looked like probably on the soccer field the entire time.
Love it.
We're going to start off today with something that I am unfamiliar with. I've never done before. My loyal co-host here is a very recent user of this methodology. And it's all about, you know, for some of us out there, it's not about toning it, it's about tanning it. And we're talking spray tan summer right now. Barrett, the last time I saw you, I'm not going to feel any shame saying this. You were absolutely glowing.
Yeah.
You had just gotten a fresh haircut, which is still hitting today.
Thank you.
You had just gotten a fresh spray tan, and you know I don't want to jump too far into the mesh shirt conversation before our next segment, but you were wearing a mesh shirt that complemented everything very well.
Yeah. Thank
you. I did not. Are you a longtime spray tanner?
Yeah. So I've. It's not something that I do with any type of like real regularity.
Mm-hmm.
I probably do it twice a year on average. You know, maybe sometimes it's 3, maybe sometimes it's only 1. But it's something that I have never been like ashamed to go, you know, to just walk in there and like, you know, I'm one dude just surrounded by women getting spray tanned. I'm always solo in there.
It's a heavily female clientele versus the men. And I feel like when you walk in there, I can't imagine that there's much of a hesitancy to do the male spray tan. But I feel like when you're in the group chat, you might feel some blowback from some of the other people who aren't about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's just that male hesitation to like kind of indulge in this type of vanity, this type of, you know, beauty method, this type of just kind of being extra with regards to the way that you look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that anybody that knows me or is listening can guess that none of this is anything that I have an issue with. Like I wear my vanity very proudly, and
that's the new description of this podcast. We wear our vanity proudly.
And like, you know, that was 10, 12 days ago that you're speaking to, and like my spray tan is gone now, and I was in some photos with my parents yesterday, and the difference is night and day. Like you just like with a healthy glow, you just look better.
Yes.
Like being tan is awesome.
Yes.
And the way that the airbrush spray tans work now, like, you know, it's noticeable, but not in a way where people are like, why are you orange?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They can tell that you've done something and that maybe this is not a week in Cabo,
mm-hmm.
but like it's like, you know, like you said, it's a glow more than anything. And whether, you know, how natural it looks, I don't really care because it looks smashing.
Yeah. I got my first certified tan of the year when I was in Cabo this past weekend, and I couldn't stop taking mirror selfies. I was like, no, I want to get in front of this mirror and get a selfie right now. I've not felt this good about myself in a long time. It's been a long winter in Austin, Texas.
The glow is really nice. And you know, I don't know if you'll experience this over the next few days, or if you experienced it, you know, on your weekend trip. But man, the other piece of it is like, I just don't tan like I used to either.
No.
Like I can get some good color with a few days at the pool or at the beach or wherever, but it doesn't last like it used to, and it doesn't develop the way that it used to, and it's very fleeting. And so like having the spray tan in your bag, in your arsenal, you know, is just, it's nice, because the other piece of it is, look, man, Randy over here, he gets to have Sunday pool days at the apartment complex and hang out with the boys
mm-hmm.
and just mob deep and do that type of thing. Once you're in your mid-30s, those opportunities, they're gone, man. My
only opportunity at this point to get a little sun and get some of that alone time by the pool is when Fritz is napping. And it's, you know, at that 2:00 hour when I put him down, I know that if somebody else is home, I know that I can run down to the pool and get a couple hours worth of sun.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, outside of that, it is much more difficult these days. And now you've officially, based on, how good you looked the other day and how I do like how I look better with a bit of color on me. Now I'm very interested by the spray tan. Do you mind if I ask you a few very targeted questions about spray tans?
Yeah, shoot.
First and foremost, what can one expect to pay when they get a spray tan?
All right. So we're in a market, I would say, where everything is expensive. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what this, I don't know what a spray, I'm guessing that this cost of a spray tan here is lower than it is in New York or LA.
Yeah.
But higher than it might be in Houston or Dallas.
Okay.
It's $40.
Okay. That's actually much less than I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a good amount of money to pay for something that is that, vanity driven. But at the same time, I understand. I would have guessed that you would have said anywhere between, you could have told me up to $120 and I would have been like, you know what? I understand.
Yeah. And you tip as well, 40, you throw 20% on that. And so you're getting close to 50. Here's why I think it's not the price that you're saying. As you can see, it doesn't last that long.
Yeah. It's a very quick process.
You get 3 or 4 solid days of it, and then it starts to fade. And by a week, it's like you didn't get it.
Okay.
So it's pretty fleeting, which is why people that are dedicated to the glow, as a you could say,
the glow
are in there once a week.
So there's an episode of Frasier. It's one of my favorite episodes of Frasier ever. Niles hosts a party at his house. And Marty, Niles' dad, he decides that he's going to color his hair because he's going to try to attract some ladies that night. He sits down next to the fireplace and he begins to sweat. And the hair color starts to drip down his face, much like Rudy Giuliani had happened to him in some situation. Does anything like that happen to you? I mean, I know that you can, right after the spray tan, that can happen, that you can rub it, like it'll rub off onto your clothes or something like that.
Yeah.
Is there any concern after you've taken a shower that you will get splotchy or anything? Because being in Texas, we're sweating a lot.
We are sweating a lot.
I don't sweat nearly as much as I used to. I'm finally acclimating. I'm becoming a lizard at this point. But I worry about the times when, I'm out at a restaurant, or if I went to a soccer, let's say I go to an Austin FC game and I'm standing out in the sun and I have a wedding that night. Am I gonna sweat all this off?
Yeah, this is the biggest issue with the spray tan, or the biggest obstacle to the spray tan is it requires a little bit of planning both before and after for best practices in maintenance.
Okay.
So here's what you need. For about 8 to 12 hours after you get sprayed, everybody can just, and by the way, this is not the reason that this looks better these days versus, like, to bring up another TV show, the Friends episode where Ross gets spray tanned like 8 times, but only on one side. This is an airbrush. So somebody comes into the room and airbrushes you with the spray. It's not just a blast out of a nozzle.
Okay, so you used to have to step into something and just like blasted you?
Yeah, and it just sprays you.
That seems reckless, but
yeah,
I'm glad it's changed.
That's why you get like one very like solid tone across the whole body. Mm-hmm. Now you're turning your arms and putting your leg a certain way so that they're contouring you, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so you need 8 to 12 hours after this, where you're letting the color develop.
Okay.
And during this time, you can't sweat, so you can't work out, you can't shower, you can't do much. And going into the spray tan, you need to be clean, and then with no lotion, cologne, moisturizer, anything on your deodorant, nothing on your body.
Okay.
So that's where you have to be like prepared for it, and then you also have to be prepared after it to be in like loose baggy clothing where you don't need to do anything for the next 8 to 12 hours before you can rinse it all off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you walk in. I mean, is it like a lobby, like you're getting a haircut?
Yep.
And so you make your appointment, you walk in, and they just take you into a back room. And here's the question I think a lot of people are wondering: underwear or nah?
Yeah. So you get you for the men. Anyway, I'm not sure how this works for the females. Yeah, you go underwear.
Okay.
Your choice. But ideally,
I think I'd go underwear and then hike them up.
Yeah.
I think that's my move here.
You want minimal coverage here,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't want to be sitting at a patio and kick my leg up at the patio and someone's like, "What?" How is that line on your thigh so defined? There's one. It's like it's not like you just fell asleep at the pool. Like it looks like you were doing some spray paint in art class or something. Yeah, that's what I don't want.
Yeah, honestly, like if the beyond the preparation and the need for hours afterwards, where one, you can be just like, when it develops over that first 8 to 12 hours, you're going to look at yourself, especially if the first time that you're ever doing this, and you're going to be like, what have I done? Because it gets there's a picture. I know that this is kind of coming up because Pete Davidson looked spray tanned at the Met Gala.
He didn't look spray tanned. He was spray tanned at the Met Gala. I'm sorry.
There's a picture before, I think it's the day before, where he's at some event. Mm-hmm. You can tell that he's had the spray tan and has not washed it off.
Yes. Yeah. To be honest, spray tans are not something that have been on my radar for longer than a couple weeks now. And so, I know that people get them. Sally had been getting them for a long time, not very often, but kind of before we'd go on a vacation or something like that, she would usually get one.
Yeah.
And so it's always kind of, now it's something that I'm like looking out for. I'm like, oh yeah, once I saw Pete Davidson was spray tanned, I had to go find all the photos and make sure that he was or not.
Yeah,
he definitely was.
So beyond all that, that is the weirdest part, is that pretty much every airbrush artist in there is female, mm-hmm. and you're getting down to your skivvies, standing in a little box and letting them come do their thing.
I could handle it.
So that,
I can handle it. I when I was younger, my mom would send me I went on spring break one year without my parents, and my mom was very worried that I was going to get insanely burned because I didn't have a parent there to tell me, put on sunscreen. And so my senior year of high school, for like a month leading up to spring break, I was going to the tanning booth every few days. And obviously that's not something I'd like to keep doing. Mm-hmm. Now my interest is so picked right now.
Yeah. The other thing, I know we're going to get to the shirts. I'm also like far more likely to do this based on the knowledge of what I'm going to be wearing.
Okay.
And that particular shirt, which is a kind of creamy mm-hmm. off-white that veers towards yellow. Yellow is not a color that looks good on my regular skin tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Washes me out. So that for that color, for that look, like I had to have the contrast. I had to have the tan going.
There's a reason that I packed a very stark white t-shirt to Mexico. And there's a reason that I saved it until Saturday morning, our final full day at the pool.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to show up and look even more tan than I was based on the contrast of my skin to the actual shirt.
The Monday after Dylan's wedding, when I still had a little bit of it going, I busted out a fresh plain white tee.
You had to.
I had to do it to him. Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts on the spray tans? Anything that I've missed or any questions that I should have asked?
No, I think that's, I think we've basically covered it. If anybody has ever been on the fence about it, like it's a low cost, or it's a low enough cost option that I fully endorse experimenting with it, because the boost to, I'm telling you, girls and guys, and and everybody, not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The whole range of people out there potentially listening. You are going to feel great about yourself with a healthy glow.
That's the main reason I want to do it, just so I can look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feels good.
Yep. A few years ago, I told Sally that I was going to be the tannest person at a wedding we were going to, and I spent so many hours out at our apartment pool. And it was mid-COVID, so I didn't really have anything else to do besides go to the apartment pool. So I did have the luxury of time on my side.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, it was a lot of work trying to get that base tan.
It is.
And I didn't get much more of a tan than I would have imagined I would have gotten had I just gone and gotten a spray tan for $40.
Yeah.
So,
what's your time worth, man?
I'm currently like trying to think of any events that I have coming up. I'm like, I need someone to get married. I need someone to do something so I can go have the excuse.
For our Austin listeners, shouts to Hush Hush Tan.
I'm glad you called them out.
That's my spot.
I love it.
Yeah.
Another shout out today. Let's hear from our friends over at Mugsy. Mugsies are the most comfortable men's jeans on the planet, built with proprietary stretch denim. These jeans look stylish, but feel like you're wearing sweatpants. These are the most damn comfortable jeans around. The stretch jean for men, they're the first ones to do it for them. So you can have comfort anywhere. When it comes to fit, they have it all. There's more room for the boys down there. There's more room for everything. And there's no hugging down there. And that's always kind of been my issue with jeans. I have kind of thicker legs down here. And I always had a very hard time feeling that stretch that I needed out of a pair of pants like that. These are never too baggy, never too skinny, always just right. And over everything, they represent comfortability and style. And at the end of the day, I think that's literally all that matters in life. Wearing their jeans, you will never sacrifice feeling good for looking good, so you can look great, feel great, and be your best self rocking Mugsies because you feel comfortable and confident to take on whatever the day throws at you. I can't even imagine what kind of weapon somebody would be like if they got the spray tan and then they had the most comfortable jeans around on. I mean, that's just, it's over.
They got swimwear too now.
I mean, you love to see that. I have a jean jacket sitting at home that's going to get busted out the second the temperature drops below 70 degrees in, I would say, probably November.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to wear that. If you're looking to get 10% off, head over and use promo code Scaries for 10% off. Do your legs a favor and head on over to Mugsy.com to pick up a pair of the most comfortable jeans you've ever worn. That's Mugsy.com for 10% off your entire order using promo code Scaries. Free your balls once and for all with the most comfortable jeans on planet Earth at Mugsy.com and use promo code Scaries for 10% off your entire order. All right, Barrett. I wrote a column recently on the Substack, and it was about my hesitancies surrounding a mesh shirt. To everyone out there who read it, I appreciate you. If you're about to hear the same information that I said on there. Essentially, I had a store credit that I really needed to use at Aime Leon Dore. And I had received something for Christmas that just didn't work. And so I decided to return it, and I started buying a bunch of pants. The pants never worked. I just don't have the lower body that fits into their pants. I've just learned this at this point. And so I finally was like, you know what? I've got some trips coming up. The warm weather's coming out. And so when they dropped their spring summer collection, I saw some shirts on there that I really loved, but I wasn't sure if I could pull them off. And the best way that I could ensure that I could pull it off was by being as upfront about worrying about pulling it off, just so people could tell me, no, you're kind of pulling that off. And so what I ended up doing was getting a mesh polo from them for the same price as or essentially the exact same price as what my credit was for. And when I received it in the mail, my fears all came to life. It was much more sheer than I was expecting, but I still didn't dislike it. And so I decided I was going to keep it. And when I got to Cabo San Lucas this past weekend, I decided that I would bust it out. It still had the tags on when I got it out, which I did not even realize. And I have to say, I'm a full convert to mesh shirts at this point.
Yeah, it's. I was really, really excited for you when I was kind of waiting. Well, just waiting for some kit picks to drop from Cabo to see if you did it. And yeah, I'm glad that your fears were completely kind of eliminated by being able to rock this, especially in the type of setting that you were in. It looked great. It looked great on you. It did not look like some, super open, showy mesh polo. It was just a vibe. You shifted the vibes down in Cabo, man.
I tried to at least. I mean, so the issue with the shirt that I got is that it's not a shirt that you can open up. And so it makes it much more difficult to layer something underneath it to cover up your nipples. And, nipples are a big thing. And, it's, you don't see nipples in the wild all that often, especially at group dinners or, at the bar and stuff. And so you having your nipples out, it makes you a little self-conscious.
I mean, some people are saying that men's nipples are actually more taboo than women's nipples. So.
It's more jarring to see a guy's nipple in public when you're not
supposed to.
Yeah,
right,
it's like,
right.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Why is your nipple out? Barrett, you layered your mesh shirt underneath your suit for Dylan's wedding a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you got rave reviews from pretty much everybody on it.
Yes. So the open knit is the kind of the big thing that we're seeing here. Mm-hmm. And you've got the one that like leans more into the mesh. The one that I have is is essentially like a lace. Yes. Almost. But they both are kind of doing the same thing, which is creating a little bit of a sheer body in a men's shirt, which is something new and kind of, feels sexy and a little bit uncomfortable, but in a good way for guys out there. But and for the most part, they're really taking to it. I was just, I'm a tab boy. Everybody knows I'm a tab boy. You can see I've got
you have so many tabs open right now, Barrett.
I mean, I just popped over to Urban Outfitters website today because they, I saw this little ditty right here.
Well, you did a whole story on Club Cool at
mesh.
Club Cool Pod on Instagram. And you did a bunch of alternatives for the kind of, expensive ALD shirts. And a lot of those shirts looked so similar to the ones on ALD that I don't think a lot of people would even know what you were wearing.
Yeah. And I'll just add to it that the weekend before I had worn a different like kind of mesh lacy style shirt. And I again, it was received with nothing short of raves. Like I don't want to gas myself up too much here, but like this is a cresting wave, and if you jump on it now, like you're guaranteed just compliments left and right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I was getting compliments as much as I was getting comments, but I also I'm of the camp of people who do not have the traditional physique of someone trying to show off their physique when they're out in public. And so I've made a little guide, Barrett. And this is for all my my guys out there who maybe don't make it to the gym nearly as much as they want to, who maybe don't necessarily want to show off their nipples at a group dinner. My first step to wearing a mesh or lace shirt is discuss it with everyone before you wear it and while you're wearing it. You got to make sure that everyone is aware that you know that you are doing it. Because if once you have confronted the elephant in the room that, you can see your body through your shirt, it's all done after that. No one can actually say anything that can hurt you because you've already confronted it. My next is you only take photos from at least 8 feet away. If someone is in range of being able to do a portrait mode photo of you, you need to back up a little bit, especially if you're being a little self-conscious about it.
Okay.
It reduces the size of the knit, which is essential for me. And you just kind of look better for it. And I think you told me this before. If you can't tone it, tan it before you wear this shirt.
That's right.
And so I made sure that I wore it to our dinner, not the first night, because that would have been a waste. And so I wore it to the dinner the second night after spending some significant time in the sun. And I think it very much helped me. And it definitely helped my confidence just being like, oh, I'm tan. I also did a cold plunge before I went and put the shirt on. I had to tighten all the skin up. And then my final one is that if you're hesitant about wearing this, just ensure that you're only wearing it for party boy or party girl situations.
Yeah, that I was going to throw that one on there if you didn't have it. I think that you debuted it in the perfect setting, and it'll probably make you more comfortable about trying it here in Austin. I think.
Yes,
because you know, like maybe it's not just a casual Saturday bar hang.
Yeah,
but like the next time you're doing like a cooler, celebratory, fancy dinner or something. Maybe Tiki Tatsia or something that has a little bit of a vibe like that. Like I think you'll feel, you debuted it in the setting where it made the most sense. Now it's even more approachable in some adjacent settings.
Doing it on vacation where barely anybody knows you is a great thing. Doing it surrounded by people who, it was a lot of my best friends on that vacation. So it was very easy to do that without worrying then.
Right.
The comfortability, I know I'm not talking about the actual physical comfortability. I'm talking about the emotional comfortability. I can't say the word right now, whatever. Is such a big thing. I compare it to when I got a Western hat when we were in Colorado a couple of falls ago. And I was very gun shy to wear it anywhere but Colorado because, Western hats are kind of a statement.
Sure.
And so I started to wear it when I would go walk down the street from our apartment to pick up pizza. I would wear it at night to go pick up pizza just to get out in public. Maybe give a nod to somebody as I'm walking by, but just, feel better about being in public and kind of forget that you're wearing what kind of feels like a costume piece at certain points.
Yeah.
Do you have any other, I know you put it on the Club Cool Instagram story. What are some other ones out there that aren't from ALD that might be some cheaper alternatives for people?
Yeah. So I just popped over to Urban Outfitters where I had pulled one up. And this is obviously has a little bit different of a look because it's a tipped collar and almost has like a button down short sleeve cardigan vibe, which is, so it's almost like a mix of like your other, your window pane kind of polo sweater piece, that's doing the mesh thing. But, the truth is that they're popping up everywhere. The one that is probably most similar that seems to be gaining some traction is from a brand, and I hope I pronounced this right, but I probably won't. It's Perta de Ego.
Hey, at least you won't hear from anybody if you say it incorrectly. Sorry, that was a Loewe blow.
It's PERTED 'EGO if you want to search it. I'm scrolling their website here on our video. You can see that a lot of it is this like corridor, boaty, crochet, knit vibe that they're doing. But they've got a lace shirt that's at a pretty approachable price point and comparatively ALD or to Bodie or whoever else.
Well, these shirts they're obviously going to be a little more expensive because they are this lace or this mesh that is probably much more expensive to produce. So it's not like you can just go you can't go to you can't go to Randy's favorite site, Shein, and go get. You probably can.
You probably can.
Yeah. Honestly, what am I talking about? Of course, you can go there and get a cheap one.
I wasn't going to mention it, but if you're desperate for the $12 version of this, then I'm almost positive Shein has it.
I try not to get on my high horse much during these episodes, but like now that we've already shit on Shein enough, I'm definitely going to be on my high horse every single time.
But I mean, really, just like you can even just Google men's lace shirt and you're going to see them pop up places. Stussy has done a couple of different ones.
Are they having a resurgence right now? Or have they been having a resurgence?
I would say Stussy has been having a resurgence over the last 2.5, 3 years. Yeah.
I need to start frequenting their site more. I need to get on their mailing list.
They've been working with Our Legacy, doing like collaborations there. They've really been like pushing kind of design forward stuff and as well as all their kind of like cool surfy and skate basics. So it's they're definitely having another moment in their history. So I love to be so old that a company that I wore as a child is now having a resurgence, and I can notice the resurgence. Yeah, definitely check out the Perta de Ego if you want something that's like nearly a 1-for-1 with the ALD.
I'll put a link to this stuff in the post that I'll do for this on the Substack, willdefreeze.substack.com.
Yeah, and those stories have disappeared, but I'll see if those are still available, and we can throw them on the
hit them with a highlight.
We can throw them. Yeah, I'll throw them on the highlight. I sure will. I wanted to add one more to your suggestions, Will, about like pulling these off if you're feeling nervous about it. Throw a layer under or over. I wore the ALD Rico under a suit, like you mentioned. It's a great way to have the best of both worlds, right? Because like you see a little glimpse of it when the full suit is on, then you get to the reception or the after party or wherever else, and you pop it off, and it's like. Then you get your second act.
Oh yeah.
Shirt,
oh yeah. You know? I mean, like I know the bride did a change in the middle of the reception, but like I mean, when I saw your change, my head just swung over, and I was like, yeah, Barrett just did it.
But the other way that you'll see ALD style these is with like a classic A tank. In previous eras, we would have called that a wife beater.
I still don't understand how that ever became the name of it. But
I don't know. I really don't. We probably don't want to know. That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
Apparently those are called A-tanks. I don't know why they're called A-tanks.
I'll take it though.
Either.
I'm glad I didn't know that. And I was trying to describe a tank top to somebody in Mexico this past weekend. And then I was like, is there any other word besides wife beater? I was talking to Dave's wife, Alyssa, about it. And I was just like, there has to be something else.
But so, yeah, you can throw a tank under one of these or do something like that and kind of get a little bit of the coverage on your person, and then almost wear it as like an overshirt or a second layer. So that's the last thing that I throw out there for kind of ways to ease into the mesh and the lace shirt game.
I can't wait to wear it again. Not only did I feel great in it, it was one of the more comfortable things I've worn out in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it's the summer of bloatcore, but it's also lace shirt summer. So.
Yeah, it's spray tan summer. It's everything summer.
That's right.
The vibes are all just flying in one direction.
I'd say the vibes are shifting to just like it being like just a hot boy summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be. I'm gonna shout out one of our sponsors here because they actually came up very clutch this past weekend. I was trying to get my bloke on, and there was a soccer game that I wanted to watch that was taking place in England. We tried to go to a sports bar to watch it, and unfortunately, the sports bar on the premises was closed. And so we didn't have any way of watching this, as none of our streaming platforms worked in Mexico. And so what did I do? I thought to myself, oh yeah, NordVPN. If you just need to watch something, you're out of the country, or you're blacked out from a game or something, you can access NordVPN from anywhere. So you don't have to miss your favorite content from home when you're traveling abroad. It just takes a click. You open the map, you click on a location, and you'll be connected in seconds. It's that easy. You can find, a platform if a platform's not available in your country, you can simply change your virtual location and boom, it's done. There's no more bandwidth throttling based on traffic type. And since NordVPN encrypts all traffic, your internet service provider can't slow down your streaming speed, and you're just living good. I had the pleasure of watching Liverpool tie Tottenham Hotspur, and I got to do it all on vacation in the comfort of my room with the doors open, with the pool just right outside. It was a beautiful situation. Be like me and go grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/scaries and use code scaries to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus a free threat protection and 1 additional month free. It's completely risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan and free threat protection plus 1 additional month for free by going to nordvpn.com/scaries with code scaries. There are a lot of people reaching out to me this past weekend, Barrett. I got off the plane, I checked my email, and I saw that I had gotten an early access link to a brand that we've already talked about today and a brand that we've probably mentioned on most episodes so far, Aime Leon Dore, that they did pretty much a fly fishing collaboration with Woolrich. I've very much, out of all the collaborations that ALD has done in the past, their Woolrich stuff always gets me the most excited, and I think it's just the northerner in me. But I mean, that Casentino wool, it hits different.
Right, it does hit different.
I do own a couple things that were from previous collaborations that were kind of splurge purchases, but I always look forward so much to those that I don't feel really guilty about doing that. This fly fishing one was, I don't want to say it was surprising to me because I know that people have been appropriating fly fishing, myself included, for years now. It's been a hobby that I've bought the equipment for and that I've tried to do very sparsely, but it's not one that has really stuck with me, unfortunately, despite how much I have kind of enjoyed it. This collaboration was kind of out of left field to me. They didn't tease it very much. We didn't see very much. And I mean, it looks like just straight up fly fishing gear.
Yeah. I was really not sure what to make of this collection either. Teddy Sands is the creative director and designer over it. Aime is well known for several things. Styling, I would say, first and foremost, and maybe second to that is basically like being just a total, absolute like Ralph Lauren stan.
Yes.
Like everything that he does is like kind of in the footsteps of 90s Ralph Lauren, which also referenced a lot of this kind of like outdoor sport, whether it was like fishing or hunting or some combination of thereof or in between or hiking or whatever. And ALD has done a lot of that. The difference for me was that they always used it as like a reference point.
Yeah.
And so there'd be like something that they called a wading jacket, but then was like very wearable outside of like a fly fishing circumstance.
Oh, it would have been more wearable outside of the fly fishing situation than in. Whereas this stuff, I feel like if I showed up to the bar in this stuff, people would be like, what, did you literally just go fly fishing?
Yeah.
Like, why are you wearing this?
This, almost all of it, like you said, this looks like it should be in an Orvis, basically.
Yeah.
And so it's that tough balancing act where it's like, well, if you're a legit fly fisherman, like I got a buddy who fly fishes 3 or 4 times a week, lives in Telluride, guides on the weekends. You know what I mean? Like this is what he loves to do. There is no chance in hell that he would wear any of this.
Our good friend of the program, Fly Fishing Charlie, he is also a fly fishing guide, and he was I previously interviewed him on Sunday Scaries podcast. He posted a slide from this to the story yesterday. It said, like, I need to see this guy cast right now. Need to see it. It's just not happening.
And so that, so if you're hardcore like sportsmen and actual fly fishermen aren't going to wear it, then you're only pitching this to the style boys, in which case, like, then you're walking the streets of New York or Austin or wherever, and you like have a giant bass fish on your back.
Out of all the things in this collection, the pink shirt with the giant bass on the back was the one that made me like turn my head the most.
It looks like a bass anyway. I guess it's probably a rainbow trout.
Yeah, we're gonna get like canceled for not knowing what kind of fish it was in the back of the ALD collab.
It looks like it's a trout, but the way that
it's a rainbow trout. Let's just get this out there. Yeah. It's definitely a rainbow trout,
but it's got that like Bass Pro kind of vibe to it. Like, yes. When we were in college, we were all about like the super gaudy graphic tees from Guy Harvey. Right. And this
I had Guy Harvey tees.
This is playing a lot on that as well. And then, you get to those items that would have fit that earlier mold, right? Like what they called a wading jacket this year is like sick from the front, like looks wearable in for other applications. And then they threw the big fish logo on the back again. So now it's like, even if I loved this jacket, well, what if I don't really like to fish? Then you just took this jacket away from me.
Yeah, it does. It just immediately gives you no credibility if you're not already doing that type of thing.
And so we actually got into like a pretty big discussion over on the Club Cool Discord about like whether wearing this collection for style like would feel poserish at all.
Yeah.
And, then that you can find yourself on a slippery slope, because then it's like, well, a leather moto jacket, that's for riding a motorcycle, and you're not going to ride a motorcycle when you wear that. So it's like, you can kind of, denim was for working, was for like gold mining or whatever, when Levi's made it in 1867. But, and you're not going gold mining when you're wearing denim. So you can start making that type of argument. But so then I started drilling down into this more and more, and I was like, it really is, if you pulled this fish patch and the fish logo off of this stuff, I would have found this collection far more palatable and far more like, finding inspiration in something, rather than like making super high-end streetwear versions of performance gear. I
think I would have found it more palatable had it dropped in September, October.
Yeah.
As opposed to after they've just had this very, I don't want to say tropical, but kind of like warm weather, summery feel. This has anything but a summery feel to me. So I was thrown off when I saw that, and I couldn't really believe that that's like what they dropped after everything else.
Right. No, it definitely, it's a fleece, it's a cable knit sweater, it's a jacket, it's pants.
These are heavy things. Like the fleece that is a rainbow trout print, like that's an aggressive fleece. Like you're not wearing that in northern states during this time. I mean, maybe you could, but that's a heavy fleece.
Yeah.
The authenticity part of it is what kind of scares me. We touched on it in the last episode talking about the soccer jerseys, when I was kind of urging people to go vintage as opposed to going with something that's current, because it just looks better and makes more sense, and you don't want to get called a poser. And so I just worry that like all these collaborations or inspirations, that like we're just going to go so far into these different interests that like we're just all posers all the time.
Right. And I mean, ALD does this a lot, right? Like they do the collaboration with Porsche. Not everybody wearing that has a Porsche.
Correct.
They do the Sunny Basketball League stuff. Not everybody that wears that plays basketball or was on an AAU team. So it's like this is actually kind of on par for the brand. This one more than any other, has taken it to a new level where it's like, this is straight up fishing gear that I'm not going to wear fishing, and that I now feel like I'm going to have a hard time getting into, since I'm not that big of a fisherman. So it's just in this weird in between. And I'll couch all of this by saying that if this green fishing shirt makes it to the end of season sale, I'm copping.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even sell out a lot of this stuff, which kind of tells me everything I need to know based on what they do.
Yeah, because like this was the one piece that I was like, okay, I'm feeling the pockets, the kind of the reference to like mesh nets and fishing vests. But this does not have any fish logo visible on it, and I can that makes it so that I can get behind it more.
Yeah, I might need to bookmark a couple of these things and then revisit it when maybe it's on some other website, maybe secondhand. Because I mean, there are some cool things in here, but there was nothing on there where I was like, oh, have to get that, because it felt so disingenuous to me.
So yeah, is Woolrich? Would you have thought like Woolrich equals fishing?
No.
Okay.
Not for me, but I also am not that deep in the game.
This must have been kind of pulled from like Woolrich Archive or something, right? Like
I assume. Like, I mean, I feel like they take everything from a very specific source, which I appreciate. Like, I like that they try to do that, but I would assume that they went into the archives and tried to figure something out.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom did a needlepoint collar for my dog, Rosie, and it's rainbow trout. Mm-hmm. Like, it looks just like that. It looks literally like just like the fleece.
Yeah.
Maybe I need the fleece so Rosie and I can get matching fits off on our walks.
Maybe your mom should start slinging those dog collars.
I mean,
that sounds pretty fresh.
It took her a long time. It was supposed to be a Christmas gift for 1 year, and it ended up being a Christmas gift for the next year. So it might be a little bit, but
yeah.
Hey,
all that means is that she can charge like $700.
Exactly. Like, yeah, this is a bespoke dog collar. Sorry. Well, since we're not really buying anything immediately from there, and I still am kind of jonesing to buy some stuff. Barrett, what's on your wish list this week?
If you listen to kind of the precursor episodes that Retail Therapy was kind of born out of, when I would pop on for gift guides a couple of times in the past, we had a piece of our gift guide that was just kind of over the top extravagance. Mm-hmm. The insane gift for the person that has everything that probably nobody needs or is actually going to buy, but we want to talk about it.
We channeled Goop
because it's worth mentioning. That's what I'm doing for my wish list edition today. Okay,
I love this.
This is something that came on my radar today, and it fits really nicely with with the summer of bloatcore that we continue to mention. And all I can say is that I wish I had these today to go with, with my vintage soccer shirt. And that is the Gucci edition Adidas Gazelles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, these are going to run you a cool $850 for a shoe that is typically under $100.
Oh,
so,
yes. The Sambas that I wore as a child were about $60 at that time, maybe even $40 at that time.
And it looks like, right now you even just have to join the wait list and kind of cross your fingers. But look at this. You telling me the red version of these wouldn't just pop off with this?
No, you're right.
With this Flamengo jersey that I've got on today,
you're right.
That's really like if I was a real one, I'd have these already. That's all I'm saying.
Well, much like we tried to convince a listener to buy a Chanel bag. Maybe we need to have the listeners convince you to get the $850 pair of
drop
Sambas.
$1,000 on Gazelles.
Or Gazelles.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, these are. I like the colorways they're doing here.
The colorways are great. I'm sure they must have, $500 of this price is just because they're Gucci. But the other, I'm sure that we're dealing with like Napa suede and made in Italy and like all sorts of other cool artisanal things that if I continue to read into, I'm gonna make myself need. But yeah, I did need to shout out the Gucci Gazelles here because they're.
I'm imagining the meme of the dude standing in the corner at the party and him just saying like they have no idea these are the Gucci ones.
They don't know. That's exactly right.
It's stepping out like, no, these are the fresh ones. Everyone else is like, oh, he wore Sambas to the party, like.
Yeah, and that you do bring up a good point. You can grab just a regular pair of like a Gucci sneakers that people will definitely know are Gucci for less than the $850 price tag here. So I don't know why these are so special. But they felt worth mentioning. So.
I'm in. I have less specificity with my wish list item today. I said that I was not going to do any more clothing stuff, but I've gotten to the point where like I need some clothing stuff, and I was going to get a fake plant. I was going to add maybe something for my wall. I have a giant wall that just needs something in front of it, and so I was thinking of either blocking it with a plant or getting some type of wall decor that's not a framed photo or framed print. But instead, I'm going to prepare for a concert that I'm going to in about a month, and I need to get a vintage Grateful Dead t-shirt. That's what I've decided. I'm going to Dead & Company at Dodger Stadium, and I need a vintage Grateful Dead shirt. Through my research, these are so much more expensive than I ever anticipated them being.
Oh, this is like top. This is the top of the market as far as vintage band tees go. Yeah,
it's insane. And so when I saw that, I was a little, disconcerted. But the good news for me is that the style that I would try to achieve is much different than the most expensive versions of those shirts. I'm looking for something a little more subdued, maybe a little more relaxed. Maybe I won't even go vintage in this specific scenario. But I need something that I know that like you're not supposed to wear the band t-shirt to the actual shows, but Grateful Dead shows and Dead & Company shows, I should be saying, I feel like it's a different vibe where you have to lean into that and you have to get into it because everybody else has.
Yeah.
I've also been told by listeners who have reached out, and I appreciate them reaching out about this, that before the concert is the best time to go get some cool merch because they've got vendors that are just lining everything.
Right.
The walk-in is supposed to be a really fun part, and that's where you can get some really cool stuff. But I can't wait that long. I'm going to be freaking out if I don't have something. So I need to go get something beforehand. Maybe I'll go to, I don't know. There's no shortage of Dead merchandise out there at this point, whether it's on, literally anybody. Like I've got stuff from Will Bryant, who's been on Sunday Scaries podcast. He's done some stuff. I'm wearing some Grateful socks right now.
Oh wow!
Yep, I'm really leaning in right now.
Yeah, you're just making sure that you're prepared for this concert.
I bought these for the concert, and I will be wearing them to the concert. But yeah, I need to get a shirt for this.
Maybe not more importantly, but what is Sally going to wear to the concert?
That's a good question as well.
Yeah.
I haven't confronted that yet. She'll figure it out. I feel like she's got more in her arsenal right now than I do.
If she starts right now, she could probably get like a dread or two going.
Oh man. Yeah. Let's see how that goes. I'll pitch that. I tried to get her. I did, the odds game that I like to play all the time. I tried to do odds with people on vacation this past week of whether or not they would return home with their hair braided. Nobody wanted to go for it, unfortunately. I even tried to negotiate down to just one single strand of bead, and still nobody went for that. So maybe if I can get Sally to do a dread, I'll get some beads in my hair next time I go to Mexico.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, another one in the books. I had fun today. Anytime we can talk about mesh shirts, spray tans, and everything else, as long as the vibes are shifting, we're going to be here.
That's right.
Ladies, gentlemen, I guess we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right.